top military backers. Earlier in December, the White House sounded a fresh alarm about that growing partnership between Iran and Russia, saying the U.S. will also work to expose and disrupt that exchange of weapons and know-how between the two countries. The U.S. is expected to be sending Ukraine precision bomb kits that will turn existing dumb bombs into smart ones. Those kits and fans are expected to be included in the next security package that's headed to Ukraine. It's also expected that we'll be sending Patriot air defense systems in that next package as well. A Superior Court judge in Maricopa County in Arizona has said that he will allow portions of the lawsuit from Republican Cherry Lake, who lost in the gubernatorial race.
There you go. Gotcha.
The judge did say that 8 out of 10 items in her complaint will be dismissed. I'm Danny Moffat, USA News.
Good thing you were paying attention.
Hi, I'm Wayne on the Root. If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for war.
You can hear me, right?
Check out the Raw podcast right now. It's available to download on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Raw.
That's different.
The following is an American Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen. I'm your host. And it is the holiday time. How about that?
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. What's the story, folks? What's going on today? Nobody's going to talk? Everybody's just, I guess nothing. I guess it's time to go home now.
Well, let's see. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 more days until Christmas.
Boy, I don't need to be reminded of that. That's for sure. It's a terrible, terrible thing right now.
It does appear, though, people are out taking care of our economy.
Yes. You know, I was actually thrilled to see how busy it was, although they really did get in my way. You know?
Well, right.
You know, I mean, didn't they know I was there and I needed to shop?
Do you know what I found yesterday? We were out driving around doing, errands and things, and there was a lot of people on the road, and every one of them, it seemed, was angry. I mean, they were...
So they're old, too. They're angry and old. You can barely see the tops of their white head. They're like 75 years old, right? I should be talking. But they're in their cars, and they got an edge.
That was me.
They got an edge. They don't know where they're going, right? They're like deer in the headlight.
Yeah.
I mean, I had someone turning left across traffic, and people stopped to let them in. And they sat through 2 light changes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I almost got out and knocked on the car, but someone else did.
That's good.
I'm just saying, I mean, help me, folks. Come on.
You know what? So it wasn't just me then, huh?
The holidays, regardless of your faith, the holidays do not mean shut off brain.
No. They're not supposed to, that's for sure.
So where are the people with smiles on their face? Oh, my gosh.
Well, and I'm sure if you read my post that I put out today, that probably didn't bring smiles to your face. I mean, I talked about the Canadians, Brazil, Peru. I mean, it's a crazy time. But I think that despite the fact that we're in the midst of the holidays, the world doesn't stop, right? Yeah. And we still need to talk about the things that are going on out there.
But you see, you're only saying part of it. The one prior, the message prior to that was, this is the last meeting before Christmas. Would you like to share anything and this and that? And I thought, how nice. I don't know. Hey, let's just be happy, right? And then I get this agenda and I go, my school violence, Jerry Brown, Brazil. I'm thinking, oh my God, what happened to being happy?
Yeah, but so, right.
I'm still happy.
So all events and all happenings have like, big picture, small picture, right? And these things are going on, but big picture, it's the holidays. We're with family and friends, but life doesn't stop for us.
It doesn't. And I think that, especially for those people who are going through this, I think it's really important to acknowledge them and to acknowledge the pain that they're going through versus, that doesn't mean we can't enjoy. It just means that I think it's important to acknowledge. So
when I was in high school, I worked at a gas station. That's when, you pulled up and you went up to the, can I help you type deal. Well, the thing that I remember best about doing that was at Christmas time. Everybody was saying, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Oh, this is great. Only so many more days. And I thought, how nice that was. How things have changed. You have to go to Oregon to have somebody walk up to your window.
Only because if you do it, it's breaking state law. Right, by pumping your own gas.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
The only reason they have that in Oregon, if they took that away, their economy would tank.
You know what? I don't know about Oregon, right, man?
Exactly.
I don't know. They have some uniqueness on laws.
Yes, they do.
And, I guess they don't have that.
Since I've been talking about this craziness that's going on out there in all these different countries, let's talk about, before we get too far into the show, Canada. Mm-hmm. Canada is kind of crazy. I'm sorry, anybody who's Canadian, and I actually have a friend who became an American citizen. She was Canadian, and so now I don't have to worry about offending her.
So
all you have to do is ask them, what language do you speak? And they can't tell you.
So, right, but it's the same thing as us here in Reno, not liking the Californians moving in and changing our world. They got those daggone Americans moving into their space.
Do. Yeah. But here's what their country has done. There was a Canadian Veterans Affairs office that offered to assist a Paralympian and veteran to commit suicide when she sought to have a wheelchair lift installed in her home. So she was trying to have this wheelchair lift installed, and they offered her assisted suicide as an option.
What, was it a price competitive thing?
I don't quite know. The case officer remains unnamed, but reportedly made similar offers to at least 3 other veterans. So apparently called up, said, hey, I need a wheelchair lift because I'm having trouble getting into my house. And
they're like, hey, we'll take care of it.
Yeah. Just hang on a second. I want to find the actual story.
That's crazy stuff.
It is, yes. Oh, shoot.
Is that, I was trying to think of that guy's name, but Dr. Kevorkian moved to Canada?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. It says, I have a letter saying that if you're so desperate, madam, we can offer you MAID, M-A-I-D, in all caps, medical assistance in dying. Huh. How nice, huh?
So
that was
I don't like that acronym.
No, not exactly a good acronym. But can you even fathom being in the position that all you want is a lift? I mean, and I've been here in the position of needing this kind of thing. If you said to me, would you rather die?
So likely this ramp salesperson has a second job at the morgue, right? So he's like doing double duty.
And it's not the first person that was offered that option.
You know what? That's quite
they made it so simple to do. They don't even have a waiting period anymore.
What, for killing yourself?
That's right.
Oh, no waiting period?
No waiting period. They used to have a 10-day cooling off period, right? Where you'd have to think about it.
What you're saying is it's easier to get a gun there, right?
I was going to say in mortgage, we call it the 3-day right of rescission.
Yeah, there you go. It's true.
Right, give the client time to think about it. Yes. They have 10 days to think about your life.
But they don't have that anymore. You can just do it same day.
No rescission now?
Sort of like same-day registration for voting.
If this was coming from
log in.
If it was coming from China, I'd understand. They have
sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, they have $1 billion.
And as much as we're laughing about this, I think it's a very sad state of affairs. But I think people need to know about this. I think they need to know that our world is turned upside down, and we need to right it. So let's right it.
So
let's make these holidays right it.
I'm with you, but I'm curious about the assisted suicide. Is it happening around the world? right? I mean, do countries allow it? Obviously, Canada does.
They obviously allow it.
It looks
around
like
here,
Canada
too.
is selling it.
Yeah, they also, I believe they allow it in some states.
Oregon, I think.
Yeah, I think Oregon is right. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
Canada
whoa,
first
wait
approved.
Wait a minute.
Canada first approved medically assisted suicide in 2016, and the parameters around it have since loosened. The law originally legalized suicide only for those facing imminent death, but it now also includes those who suffered severe pain or disabilities. And I also heard in one post, oh, if you're poor, maybe you want to kill yourself. I don't know. I don't know. The world is topsy-turvy, right? Makes no sense.
So I'm going to say with that stuff, though, I hate to say this, but I'm kind of like okay with it, right? It's kind of a libertarian view, right?
You can be okay with it. I'm not.
Well, I get that. I'm against the guy selling it, right? Selling it door to door. But the event of it happening, I'm not against it.
All things are cyclical. All things are cyclical. So with assisted suicide, that doesn't bode well for them, because you might be depressed, you might not want to live anymore, but you know what? Tomorrow things will change. You might win the lottery.
Well, right, but those are individual choices, not group choices.
Well, I can give you an example, and I've probably told this story too many times. I'll tell it again. My niece had hepatitis C, right? She was only 45 years old. Tried to talk her into a transplant. She just really could not even fathom the idea of having to live that strict a life if you got a transplant, because there's some regimentation to it and it's tough. And she said, I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. That's fine. We honor people's wishes, right? And she did end up passing away. Well, within, I think it was 2 years, maybe 3, they had the cure for Hep C. So when you look at this,
agree.
The only thing I think is you have to take the 40,000-foot view. You gotta, raise yourself up and look at it and say, hold on, what are the possibilities, right? And let's eliminate the possibilities and see if I can deal with that. So
I'm with you.
That's the only thing.
I'm not for it. I just think it should. If people want it, it should be there.
Well, that's an opinion.
It is. It is.
Right? Everybody's entitled to it.
I've seen, right, my dad died of cancer. He was 39.
And I get it.
He had 6 months, and I saw it happen.
Yeah.
And that's, everyone's got their own story and all kinds of things, and most of the time I think it's a mistake, but I don't think it should be prevented.
Yeah. Well,
you don't think it should be prevented?
I'm a God-fearing person, and I believe that God takes you when you're supposed to go. But that's just me.
Janice, it's self-murder.
Yeah, it is.
Suicide is self-murder. So,
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
one of the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
So, right, but if you take it to its truth, diabetes, being fat, same thing. Eating wrong, smoking, right? You want to go take it to the letter of the law about being good to yourself. Where do you draw the line?
In my book, Heroes and Giants, that's the one I wrote, but in case you're looking for it.
What are the ratings on that?
We're working on reviews.
Very high. I told a story about a guy that I worked with, and he was tied very, very close to his mom and dad. Very quiet guy, still waters define him. His mom died of cancer. Well, and it really upset his dad and him. Well, not too long later, within months, his dad comes down with cancer. So my friend, not wanting to see his dad go through the same thing his mom went through, all of the misery of the treatments and whatever, it was his dad. He was older. He went to his bedside, pulled out a gun, and killed him.
Ugh.
And then shot himself.
Ugh.
Now, that's somebody that I knew, that I worked with for years.
So, right, but, this is personal, right? I was 18 years old. My dad told me to shoot him.
Yeah.
Told me to.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Do you know what?
I couldn't do it.
I don't mention that to my boys, because they always say, okay, Pop.
Right. People getting bad. I think it's cop out, right? I think
Quitting?
I think it's given up before your time, but
Just like they say, you don't know what it's like walking in their shoes.
It's true, and that's why it's hard to make that judgment. But you can have your own personal opinion, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm with you, Janice. It's a shame that Ed sucks.
Oh, it's your day.
you know what? You know what? When Doug's looking at me like that, I know I won.
Oh my goodness. Well, now I'm going to detour us now to another kind of not so great topic, but one that I think that needs to be covered, kind of concluding a lot of topics that we've been talking about all year. And this particular one, I believe we talked about this. We didn't interview Jeremy Brown. He is the J6 prisoner that was in for over 400 days without a trial.
He was detained without, this is unprecedented.
He did finally get his trial, and unfortunately, he was found guilty on many counts. And from what the folks that I've spoken to about it, they, not all of them. So that's the good news. But the bad news is, yes, he was found guilty on a number of them. One of the interesting ones that they found him guilty on was a couple of grenades that they said that they found, 2 fragmentation grenades and the unlawful storage of them. And he was found guilty on that. But the interesting thing, and I had read this about, during the trial, there was no DNA evidence on there. There were dog hairs on there that were not dog hairs from his dog. Anybody who's had a dog, you know darn well that there's no way you're hiding that. And all these different things, and yet they found him guilty of that. So it tends to make you feel like, were they really looking at evidence, or were they just deciding they're going to, do this guy in? Yeah. So he hasn't been sentenced yet, from my understanding. But I did want to follow up on that, and we're sorry to hear it, but at the same time, I guess you have to say justice, right?
Don't you think it's kind of funny? They found him guilty on inappropriate storage of a fragmentation grenade. Huh. So is there rules how you can keep those at home?
So likely that's because it didn't have anything else.
Yes.
Right? That's probably some law from 1905.
And they turned off cameras. They did all the things that you hear them doing, and like they did to Trump, and they did all those things. Yeah. That the there's just so much dishonesty out there. It's just very sad.
Logomachy.
Logomachy. Come on. If you're going to use our word of the day, you got to say it right. Logomachy. The only reason I know is I listened to it a dozen times before I came on the air.
Well, thank you, because I did too, and I still couldn't understand how to pronounce it.
I obviously still
I wrote down. I gave myself a little, tutorial here.
Yeah.
I'm getting one, right?
Yeah,
just like every Tuesday.
So Logomachy, let's talk about that word. It's an interesting word, and I think it's a great word for coming toward the end of the year.
Well, it is. It's the only word that I have found that since we've been doing this that has the most synonyms.
See, I mentioned his synonyms for a reason.
So
well, that's the only way that I can understand
this
the
word has the most synonyms?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And origin, 16th century.
Yes, It was quite early on. It's been around a while. And it's a dispute about words. We could dispute this word, couldn't we?
I'd rather use one of the synonyms.
So, right, because this word exists basically means that most languages are weak.
Yeah,
right. They're not descriptive, or people don't use them.
On the site that I went to find it, it says it's a noun and it's rare.
Rare that it's used?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's a great word. A dispute carried on in words, or a battle of words.
Well, I'm going to say that's like every media outlet, right? To me, that word applies. However, not used, it's very really applicable to real life.
Yeah. What is a woman? Define woman, right? Oh, my Lord.
Don't. I mean, I love.
Funny you should mention that. I've tried my entire life.
So Doug and I we've had, our whole life long, we've only had one thing we couldn't do, and that was like ask women their ages. Now there's like a whole bunch of things. Right?
Well, you can ask.
Yeah.
No, that's one of those things when you ask, you're dead.
No.
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's ways around that, though.
So I hope that ladies, when they're filling out loan applications, fill that part out. Right? Because
you don't want to ask.
I have to ask, right?
Yeah.
It's true, you do.
Well, isn't it amazing that there is a law about that you can't ask that in applications?
Yeah, when you're doing a job application.
Well, right. So, and I just
look at how many wrinkles.
I just did my education, right, for mortgage.
Crow's feet.
So
count them.
There are, things that the government wants for survey purposes, and I can ask those things for that.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a whole page of, what's your
They're
ethnicity, what's your
They're
gender,
questions.
all those things.
And how things have changed. When Debbie and I have to explain this, Debbie's my wife, when we bought our first home, you couldn't use the woman's salary. You could only use your own.
Yep.
And the premise behind it is, they're women and they're going to be pregnant and they're going to be this. Well,
totally.
It was
Totally.
Very much that.
But I mean, banks are looking at risk factors for reasons for not paying, right? And many of them are personal, right? Many of them aren't,
Probably most of them, I would imagine.
And back in the day, right? I mean, those are back when, right, people got pensions and retired from 30 years of working at a company.
In the same place, yeah.
Right. I mean, that stuff. Best I know, banks have been ripping us off forever because there was no risk back in the day compared to now. Right? It's crazier now.
It is crazy. So did you guys hear about the Civil War in Peru?
The Civil War what?
Civil War in Peru. There is an outbreak of a civil war in Peru.
No.
I'll bet the media is not reporting about that.
No. The only thing is Argentina won the World Cup, and they landed in Argentina, and the whole country came out. And so that's my South American news. Yeah. That's my South American news. I don't know Peru.
You don't know Peru. All right. Well, that's what I hear is that Peru's got some problems.
So, right, we should get into that kind of thing because I think it's interesting.
The army arrested the president, the communist president.
So
and China's on the communist president's side.
So, right, but the United States, right? We didn't have people telling us, right? We kicked in, got away from England, made our own arrangements, had our own civil war, had people involved. It all shook out, and here we are now, growing or not growing. These other countries are still in development, and they're going to have their stuff until they find out what government's going to rule them. I think we got to wait till that's done and then deal with them. Instead, we try to change them.
Do you think this country meaning the U.S., is on the brink of a civil war?
It could be.
So almost always, but that's the nature of our democracy.
No, I think it's worse now than it's been.
It may be worse now than ever, but it's supposed to be volatile.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be messy.
Well,
I don't know about volatile,
CNN decided to report on December 11th. They reported about at least 20 injuries and clashes the day after. It says Peru's president impeached and arrested after he attempts to dissolve Congress. So they did have some clashes and some things then. But more recently, I've seen some posts that say they're actually in civil war now. So. I wish that our media would,
Well, right. I mean, it's not that political.
Reporting.
Well, right. I mean, hopefully Peru solves it as peacefully as possible, has a government worth a clue, and then we work with them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's all. That's a tall
well,
tale.
What do you do? Other than that, we just meddle with them. We don't let them be who they are. We give them money. Russia gives them money. They got more money to fight. They don't get to solve it on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, neither do we. We just think we do. Yeah. All right, on that note, we will be back. This is What's the Story? Don't go away. Swelling up from the depths of my soul. Fear not the burning flames.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger. No finger pricks. Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger. No finger pricks. Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I am your host, and here with Ed Noel and Doug Ashby. Sorry if we chuckle a little bit, but we had a little incident at the break, and it was kind of entertaining. So we're still reeling a bit from it.
So right here in the studio, we have these bar stools. And I was leaning back on one with wheels.
You have to kind of lead up to it.
I wiped out, right? Just kind of like about 11-year-old kid in 4th grade, leaning back on his chair. Wow.
Well,
there he goes.
But the lead up to it is he reverted back to attempted suicide.
Maybe that's what it was. Could be.
He did, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
He said, well, he put that in the lose column. He says, well, I can't do it that way.
Well, but no worries, because Shanimal, our engineer for today, was kind enough to come running in the studio.
All right.
Well,
to help him get up.
Wasn't there a little insight to everybody's personality? You're right. He came in there. Oh, Ed, are you okay? Okay.
We all sat here.
Doug and Dan were laughing so hard they were crying.
You say, "Oh, that's great!"
And I was
all we could see from his corner of the studio were feet in the air.
I was going to say I'm pretty red-faced most of the time, but extremely so.
Aw. It wasn't as bad as all that.
Oh, it was worse, huh?
I thought it was kind of funny, but, beyond that, we're good. So I thought maybe we should cover a little bit more about our word of the day, because I was going to jump to Brazil, but I just don't think that we've done justice to the word. And, Doug wanted so bad to do his synonyms.
Oh.
We didn't even let him even touch on it.
It seems to me like we get into solving other challenges when we dig deep into words.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And there's so much to this word. Go ahead.
There are so many, you have to have a glass of water to cool your lips off to say them all. Here we go. Tangle, melee.
Wait.
What are you doing? Movie titles?
You're tangling with someone. Yes.
A dispute about words is a tangle.
This is a synonym.
It's a stretch.
I thought that was something you girls pulled out with
do.
a brush.
Yes, we do. When we can.
Oh, well, hey, let's get into them. Melee, fracas or fracas, and brawl, skirmish, battle royal.
No way.
I like this.
Yeah. We have. How can I use it in the sentence to say that we have logomachy about these synonyms? Right? Yes, we have. Would that be the correct way to use the word? We have a logomachy about these synonyms.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do. This came from. Oh, I didn't write down. This came. Very reliable source.
Who?
So, was it like
the Webster Dictionary?
Milkman.
So I'll go from the bottom and go back up that way. Difference, catfight, fuss, run-in, hassle, vendetta, feud, debate, kick up, contention, free-for-all, attack, scrap,
there's so
row,
many
fray, fight,
they're all poor.
falling out, clash, protest.
But that's not a dispute about words. Right.
Yeah.
That's just a dispute.
That's like me and you talking like we do on the show about something, right? That's more our word of the day.
Logomachy.
Man, I can't get my accent appropriately.
Pronounce it again.
Logomachy.
Logami?
Logomachy.
Logomachy.
I know.
See, because when you look at it, it looks like Logomachy.
It does. I wanted to make it many other things than Logomachy, but I listened to the dude a number of times, and that was what he said.
Yeah.
I listened to that dude,
He was from the 1500s.
I believe he was.
Some people are, you can tell.
Yeah, he was definitely back there. Definitely.
But I think it's true that often, obviously presidents care about it enough that President Biden and or many leaders, we can talk about the Clean Water Act, we can talk about the inflation. They call things they want them to be, not things they are.
Right.
So this confusion of words is an everyday thing.
It's true. And part of that definition, the second definition here, I think is pretty good. An argument or debate marked by the reckless or incorrect use of words. I think that's a real good idea, and which is why all this disputing stuff and or whatever.
Well, right. You know what would be there? If you go to Facebook or LinkedIn, there's about 5 million theirs that should be theirs.
Okay, Ed, would you please throw these over where you landed?
Hold on, look. You didn't print two-sided. I can use these as note sheets.
I do that all the time.
Right? That's all I have is a click at home and it works. Save. And at least they're not somebody's tax returns.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, so a contention marked by the careless or incorrect use of words. A meaningless battle of words. I don't know if it'd be meaningless.
So how about like the Royal Brothers? Here it is, the Battle Royale in your synonym list, doing a Logomachy, right? Which is what they're doing, right?
Logomachy.
Yeah, Logomachy.
I think I've beat the word up as much as I can beat it up, right?
Do they use it in Brazil?
I don't know.
No, Peru they do.
It's interesting because I took Spanish for 4 years, but it was, traditional Spanish, not a particular dialect. And so as I've been looking at the different things that have been coming through on my little Brazilian channel that I watch, the words are so different. right? You can't look at them and say, oh, I know what that word is. But then I came across one and it said agora, right? And I thought, oh, I wonder what that means.
That's a city in California.
I know,
right?
agora.
Also, I thought it was, isn't it some kind of fur?
Might be.
I think it's agora fur.
But you know what the word means? Now.
Huh?
Well, in Spanish, ahora is now, right?
Yeah,
so it's just that they changed the H to a G. Right. I don't know. Maybe they were there first. They did the G, and then the Spanish said, "Oh no, we're going to make that an H." Right? I mean, I don't know. It just seemed it was kind of interesting though that it was so close.
It is in languages, certainly European that are Latin based, always give you the nouns and then the adjectives. Right? Ours are in front and back and all over, on top, underneath. Right? Theirs are always, they give you the noun and then they tell you how it affects you after. Yeah. So, I mean, their structure's way better than ours, generally, simpler.
With learning languages, they say that English is very, very difficult to learn.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, because half of it's made
language.
Up. Well, we talk about words of the day all the time that come and go.
That's true. So let me see if I can give you any updates on Brazil, because they have been protesting for over 50 days.
Did that dude step down yet?
You know, that's interesting.
He's still there?
Yeah. And let's see where we are right now. So the last I read, because you can have, oh no, that's a terrible thing to say. Because today's our 51st consecutive day of peaceful protests. The president already showed us that he is watching and he's proven himself. I did hear that he had signed something, I believe, arresting some of the judges. So
arresting the judges?
Yes.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
I know. But the military can take over. They have an Article 142 that the military can take over in Brazil, but apparently they haven't done it yet. But that's where the protesters have been, is by the military bases. They're staying out of the cities and they're going to the military bases, and that's where they're protesting because they feel safe there. You know, that they're not. And there were a couple of false flags where some people went and protested in a city.
Was there anything in Las Vegas? I mean, no.
They could have been.
Well, for me, right, Brazilians are big rodeoers, right? National Finals Rodeo just happened. I mean, big contingents, not World Cup, but big. I mean, thousands of people.
You know, as a spinoff to this, it kind of dropped from the front page. The protests that they were having in China. Whatever happened?
I don't know. I have not heard anything more about it.
It just fell off the front page, didn't it?
It did.
China's government, they know they will take care of it very differently. Oh, these protesters, take them out and shoot them.
I know.
We won't miss a couple million.
Yeah, apparently
people.
On the 19th, President Bolsonaro was supposed to talk to the crowds of people that were out there. He's gone out and talked to them a couple of times, but apparently didn't do it this particular time.
Is he their Biden?
No, he's their Trump.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's their Trump. Lula is the communist. So, that's who they're trying to not have take, because they say that they stole the election. I mean, it's a 2020 all over again, except in Brazil. And it's interesting to me that there's so little coverage about it. Because,
stop it.
Well, I keep hoping, I can hope.
Hey, we're the mere sheep, and the purveyors in this country think that they aren't run by the populace. They think that they know what's best for us, so they will only feed us what they want us to hear.
Well, they keep us in that short-term, small picture, not big picture.
Yeah.
So they keep you day-to-day racing through, right?
And
bring stuff up and it goes by.
And that's why I try really hard to, when we do a story of any kind that has any legs, that we try and do the follow-up, do the finale of it, good, bad, or otherwise, and hopefully have some closure, because it's because it teaches you a lot by knowing what happens, right? I mean, you learn from that. Even if you don't like what happens, you should know what happens.
Exactly.
That's the point. You learn from it. Well, I thank you for that, and it is time for us to take another break, and then we'll be back with some more stories for you. Well, I got my backbone back. You strong.
this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. That's 800-296-1259.
Hey, this is Reba McEntire, and I wanted to talk to you about a serious problem right here in our own backyard. Did you know that there are nearly 16 million kids struggling with hunger in America? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food, engaging their communities in solving hunger and giving hope to hungry kids and their families. But they need your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now she's gone like a little.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm your host. And wow, this first hour is going quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Always.
Especially when we have people flopping on
the floor.
Well, I don't know if you know it.
Will not let you live that one down.
And the only reason Janice has two co-hosts is in case one goes toes up.
I think so. Right when my mom,
and then she won't be here by herself.
I won't be all alone.
Well, look at it's this hardwood floor, right? Eddie's got here. My mom used to like put clothes all over us, and we used to slap my brother, and I'd slide around all over the floor, polish her floor for her.
That's right.
I was just doing a little rolling down there. I was just cleaning up a spot.
Helping you out, Eddie.
Yeah. It's like this corner was looking a little.
That's right.
It was a little dusty.
You don't need to have the janitor come in today. Ed's taking care of it for you.
That's right. It's on my back.
He'll send you a bill. Oh, my goodness. Well, today I actually attended a press conference at the Dilworth Middle School. And that press conference was about an incident that happened at that Dilworth Middle School on Thursday of last week. Apparently, there was a teacher that was trying to prevent a student from going through a security door that the student was not supposed to go through. And in that process, the student took and slammed the teacher up against the wall and injured her. So, unfortunately, this isn't the only incident that's ever happened at this particular school, and not the first incident that has happened across the whole Washoe County School District. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is because there's a solution, and that solution is from Paul White, who we've had on our show here. And actually, Eddie's going to be interviewing him tomorrow at noontime.
I like Paul. Paul's our homeless solution.
Yeah, he had a solution for some homeless, and he has worked with gang members. He's worked in the Los Angeles area. He's an educator, so he's got some good background in understanding the nature of the problem. And I think that, you have to identify what that problem is before you can solve it, right? And he's done a pretty good job of doing that. Hopefully, our Channel 8 was there, RGJ was there, KUNR were all there. So hopefully they will do a good job of sharing some of this information as well. But
I hope they share and educate, right? It's usually they try to slide it behind you and move on instead of solving problems.
You are so right, spot on with that. I am absolutely sick of continuing to redefine the problem. We're past all that. It's time let's get into solutions. I understand fully what the problem is.
He has a solution for it. He has a newly formed education crusade. That's what he calls it. And what he wants to be able to do is to set up a prototype school so that he can show how he can help these kids, how he can get them on track to learning again or learning at all. And so it's solution based, and he's not asking for a bunch of money. Now, I don't know if he's asking other people for money, but I know that he was not purporting that was the whole idea of this, was to get money. And usually that's what those kinds of things are. So I'll applaud him for that. And Joey Gilbert was there as well, and he spoke for a while and talked about, what role he would play and how that can all
It was
come
a big
about.
deal with Joey's campaign. Education was top.
It was, and he hasn't stopped. Just because he lost the race, he's not stopped. So this says, was the response from the Washoe County School District Superintendent, Susan Enfield. Quote, "The teacher is fine," end quote. And that was after the teacher's face was smashed into a locker and bloodied by that student. The other thing, quote, "We'll come back to school with guns and kill you if you report us." And that's, end quote. That's from gang members and incorrigible students that continue the pattern of assaulting and terrorizing Dilworth middle school teachers with violence and drugs. So the solution is not just letting them all continue to do this. So this happened on a Thursday. On Friday of that week, the teachers, 27 out of 33, and I may have the numbers not quite right, but that's what I recall seeing, 27 out of 33 called in sick out of support for this teacher that had been harmed, and to make a point. Well, here's the point that those teachers made. The principal proceeded to call the parents and say, "We're understaffed, so school's going to be closed on Friday." That was not telling them why.
So right, is that anywhere
happened.
near the truth or trying to solve any
Yeah,
problems?
it's not an untruth.
Man.
It's not an untruth, but it's a lie by omission. And they should have been notified immediately about what happened.
Yep.
There should have been a meeting of some kind.
That young man should be, or
I'm going to just take a shot at this. Does this mean that everybody doesn't get a trophy?
Yeah, not this week.
Yeah.
Not this week, yeah.
No, he's got one. He just can't get it till he gets out.
But they're opening up a confidential hotline, which is 775-685-8200, where Washoe County School District employees, students, and parents can report abusive, dangerous, or dysfunctional activities that threaten school safety or teachers' ability to effectively educate the students. So there's at least a beginning solution, right?
No, that's nice. I was just thinking, how do you get through? They probably got a 24-hour wait time.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell just a very short story about what you're talking about?
Can I stop you?
Yeah, this is going to be less than a minute.
I'm teasing.
Somebody that's very, very close to me was in, I believe, the 7th grade, and he's always been taught, walk away. Walk away. Just don't get involved. Walk away. Well, there was a bully that came up to him, and he said, you said something to my girlfriend. And this friend of mine says, no, I didn't. He says, yes, you did. He says, no, I didn't. And he turned to walk away. Well, this kid, as he's going out, he pushes this other kid. This friend of mine turns around and he popped him right in the nose.
Oh,
awesome.
Do you know what? Well, then the Donnie book, and the teachers separated it. The extenuation of that is they went and the vice principal looked at the videos and saw that this friend of mine was, yes, he did as he was told. He walked away. He turned, said no, and walked away. And this bully continued to push it. Well, both of them had to do demerits and things in the VP's office. Now, how does a dad talk to this friend of mine? Does he say, oh, you resorted to violence? Well, we don't want you to resort to violence, but you know what? That bully gives him a very wide
I would have taken
berth.
the kid out to dinner and applauded him for taking care of his own business.
Exactly. No, you don't want violence, but you know what?
That's how you stop it.
The bully doesn't come near him anymore.
Right, and I'm going to tell you right now we can go into schoolyard, but they don't let bullying happen. And I get that bullying's a problem.
Right.
But what happens is those bullies are 40, 50 years old, and people don't know how to deal with them because they're not allowed to deal with them in school.
Yeah. It's a
right.
shame.
I mean, people need to learn how to deal with difficult folks. Best I know, everybody's difficult.
Sometimes,
especially me.
Sometimes a pop in the nose is a good prescription for it.
I think so. Honestly.
But let's go on the record and say, hey, we're not for violence.
No, but
absolutely
but it's big picture.
Yeah.
To me, that punch in the nose stop that bully long term.
Yes.
Right? We got short term, but likely over a month, there's way less grief because he's not picking on everybody every day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the only way to stop it. That is the only way to stop a bully.
Sometimes solving challenges is painful, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, and I think that the challenge that we have here in Washoe County is huge. And
right, it's so bad.
I think at least this is and I'm going to repeat that hotline number. It is a confidential hotline, 775-685-8200. So if you know of something that's going on that you feel needs to be reported, should be a safe place to be able to do that.
I think you might as well give them the number to dial a prayer. As much is going to happen.
That's not true.
I don't believe that.
This isn't the school district doing this.
Yeah.
This is private people that are doing this. And we know Paul White well enough to know that if there's any way to do it, he's going to get that done. So I'm not going to go along with your estimation on this. I'm going to say call the number, take a chance, report it. It can be anonymous, I'm sure, and then you can
right, Doug. It's my logic. You got to
solution.
give people a right to fail.
Yeah.
Right, you got to give them the opportunity.
Right. And we have to do something. We can't keep sitting on our hands. We can't keep saying, oh, this is a problem. Yeah, it is a problem. Let's fix it. And he's willing to put his time and money into this in some fashion. And, God bless. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So
right?
Thanks. And for the teachers, too, think about how these teachers must feel. A bunch of them are going to quit because they're going to resign because they don't want to be there anymore. I mean, we need
Do you
teachers.
blame them?
I don't. No, I don't. But I'm saying if there's a solution, we should help with that. So we're going to encourage that. That's what we're going to do, whether you like it or not. Who's a bully now? All right, we're going to take a break here. We've got the news coming up, and but we're not going away. We're back for our second hour.
And you have to put a Merry Christmas in there.
All right, Merry Christmas.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes